So as a creative manager, you have to take that extra step. So everywhere you can have models, actually speaking. Or it is your ability to see models everywhere. She is not intending it. It is I who see. It is I who look at her from that vantage point. It is William Wordsworth looked at that solitary reaper from that vantage point. She was just there, apparently sad, cutting or just watching the setting sky. The poetry was originated in his mind. The falling stone did not talk about gravitational force. The falling stone was only a shanayu performed by the nature. The truth of which was kind of magically triggered a question in the mind of Newton, why it falls. Millions of people are cooking tea, and the Zen master also cooks a cup of tea. Cooking a cup of plain tea, a Zen searcher will get his satori. Thousands of uh, human beings in Japan must have got satori, but they are not known, because it was pure satori. The great mystics did not follow any of the methods which he talks about to the public, for example. So all these principles are told to you so that you can derive your own insights to discover what you have to do in your company. I don't know what you will be doing in your company. So it is only your reality. And that reality cannot be told even by me at this intimate training sessions. Then how can a textbook will give any trace of that reality? The so-called science of engineering or so-called art of management, it can only give you descriptions about the likely ways of that realities. A general description. Like you say, you are from India. You are from India. What they describe in the book also is true. But you are not from India. You are from Coimbatore, you are from Kalimangalam, you are from Genius Service Institute. That is the reality of you. The core reality. The reality that you are an Indian also is thing. Then you can also say, why you say you are an Indian? Because of the design setting process. Why you don't say that I am a global, I am a human entity? That is the primary truth. Just examples, I am not denying the apparent validity of what they have designed. So I am trying to give you an insight into the ways of the way, engines of intellect. And trying to give you the three-spoked wheel of the creative manager, or the creative entity, because the creative manager is a creative individual. You cannot be creative between 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock and then ordinary. Understood? Okay? So the three spokes of the wheel, which But you have to reconfirm. One spoke the freewheeling mind. The other spoke
The creative language.
the creative language control. And the third spoke the power of analytical engine. We talk basically analytical engine, which will require other engines also, especially the language engine. This word is creative language control, and both of these requires the freedom of the mind. So that is rotation of that wheel. All of them are interplaying. At any one split second, one of them is operating. Next split second, the other is operating. For example, so when you are giving a creative talk to the audience of your colleagues or audience of the world, you should have the flexibility, you should have the freedom of the mind operating, and at the same time the engine of attention to details and conceptualization and visualization also working. So these three are inseparably linked to the hub of the wheel, so that the rim would roll in the territories of your doing and being. Its impressions would be manifested in your responses and behaviors and actions and dialogues. It was the ultimate freewheeling of the mind of the cook that allowed him to do the absolutely risky challenges of learning the art of sword in a hiding way from the master samurai, and which drove him to the sheer decision of stealing the sword. Don't you think it was a very risky act? He must have meditated on that for minimum 20 days to take that, to arrive at that decision, and to develop the guts and the will to do that act. Arriving at that decision is one thing, and doing that act is another thing. Because once you arrive at that decision, you just cannot go into the room and pick the sword and come out alive. That required a totally separate strategy, which can provide to you only by the mastermind tempered in the act of so many shanoyas. If shano is an act of stealing your satori or enlightenment, only a master of shanoyu can cook the art of taking that sword from the custody of a master samurai. From the stack of a master samurai. I am sure it is not a logged rope. It must be even obviously displayed there. But nobody would have the heart of steel to touch it. So most of the managers are capable of decisions actually. I have seen thousands of managers, live performance during my most intricate training program. I have made them much more capable of that decisions. Plus, I have given them the ways of doing the act. Why it is? Because a lot of people, not only managers, have that decision power, but they do not know how to do it. Most of these Christians and Muslims and Buddhists and Hindus are convinced about their understanding of truth. They must be, because they have gone through it several times. They listen to the talks and sermons almost every month or every week. So they must be very sure about the details of the boundaries of the decision making. But they do not know how to do that act of what they have decided. Or even when they know, they must be definitely blocked and trapped by the mental blocks and mental traps. There's many other mental traps. That is why. So, keeping all these mental traps and the familiarity trap, they are just knowing. That is, none of these mental traps are applicable there. You don't have to write an examination about how much you understood about Bible or Quran or Gita. Okay. So freewheeling knowing. So no mental blocks are applicable there. You just go and sit there. You will know it very well. But when you start doing, to learn the theory of recipe from the book, you can do it comfortably sitting on your study table. But entering the live kitchen of cooking, to touch the vessels, to take the ingredients, to set them, and to apply energy, it requires real competency of translating the knowing into doing. Even in case of an ordinary tea made in an everyday kitchen in the world, I am talking about the cooking of the genius inside, my dear lady. I am talking about the sanu that happened in the mind of that cook to arrive at that decision. I am talking about the sanu of his stealing the sword of a master samurai. And he was capable of that. That's why he had the freedom to do it. See, it is complex. Okay, your mind is freewheeling, so what? But if you are not capable. So a lot of people are not capable, therefore their mind is not freewheeling. We cannot say actually that their mind is not freewheeling and therefore they don't try to learn. You have to try it. The mind will allow its freewheeling to the extent of your attempt on climbing the seat of the bicycle. So just to do when you get to the job, every act that you do in your organization should be sanayu. You have to derive the required mind setting as well as develop all the required knowledges also on how to do it. That nobody may show you, that you have to discover from within you. By taking the dumb, dangerous risk of learning the art of sword and trying to change the identity and finally end up in discovering his own, right? His own engines of intellect. So every time you do a wonderful job, not necessarily you get money, but because it is contributing to you too. That's the way you should look at your work. Great number of managers and leaders are not capable of reaching their satori of what they do is because they don't take their work as the manifestations of their own entity. They don't utilize their work as a shanoi to discover the wonder within them. They are just doing according to an appointment order. The water is turned on. I am turning on the water flow to that developing tree of your genius inside you, Divya. I am like a Rangan to myself. I am as humble as Rangan, sitting inside the wonder of this human entity. Okay. Come on, what are the points which you have written there?
First one, sir, giving detail to each and everything around me,
Yeah.
trusting and respect.